want to talk to you about how I view directing versus just generating in Suno, and why the stuff that I teach is all about directing Suno versus just, prompting. So I want to walk you through a pyramid of the way that I view this. So we'll start by drawing out the pyramid. All right, and so the way that we're going to attack this is from the bottom up is quality. A-L-I-T-Y. So as you move up the pyramid, your quality improves. So then we have down here is generic. So this is your generic Suno outputs. You put in a prompt, generate a song. Maybe you don't even put a prompt. You just click the magic arrow and something comes out the other side. This at the top is directed. So this is your directed output. This is the stuff where you're really in control of Suno. You're really approaching this in a professional way. You are understanding what it takes to create high quality, top tier music in the AI space. So let's walk through all of the layers that lead up to the top of this pyramid. You don't have to do these in order. You don't have to do all of these for every song, but this is just a visually a way of approaching it or thinking about it. So let's start at the very base layer of the pyramid. This is prompts. So this is the stuff you already know, it's prompts. Now there's ways of making them purposeful, making them more effective, and those are all lessons that can be learned through experimentation, through reading the documentation that's out there, including the stuff inside of Unlock Suno. But prompts, this is your base layer of the entire pyramid. Next is you have your lyrics. I'm not talking about the lyrics that auto-generate out of Suno. What I mean by lyrics is when you're actually going in there and personalizing them. You're writing your own personalized lyrics for the song. This moves you up this ladder, this pyramid of quality. The third layer here is your reference track. So this is when you take a track that you've created, or maybe even a track that you've sang or you've hummed the melody to, or something where you have taken the musical idea that's in your head and you put it into the tool as a reference track. Now you're really starting to climb up this quality ladder because you have purposeful prompts, you have personalized lyrics, and now you have your own ideation and a reference track inside of the Suno engine. So this bottom three, these are what we call the input control. So once you have these three mastered, you have mastered your input control of Suno. Now let's keep moving up the quality pyramid. So this next one is persona. So as you build more and more inside of Suno, hopefully you are establishing your persona inside of Suno, where it understands what it is that you're trying to accomplish with this artist. It understands, a lot of the songs that have been created, the way that the vocals sound inside of that inside of Suno for the songs that you're generating as part of that project. Then above that, you have My Taste. So now you have My Taste. My Taste just came out as the 5.5 drop. So what this will do is this will learn your preferences, what you like, what you dislike. It's Suno understanding your behavior and your desires and wants. You can also write this yourself. It's under your profile. You can go in there and you can actually dictate what is in the My Taste profile. So this adds to that pyramid of quality as you're moving up. And then the next one here is also something that was just dropped in 5.5, and that is the custom model. This is superpower right here. So this is where you take a portfolio of songs that you have created for a particular artist, and you create a model inside of Suno that understands that artist now completely. And it will actually generate songs based on that model, based on the music you fed it. This is extremely powerful. It takes some working through it to understand how to direct it, so it's not giving you kind of generic output. But again, this moves you up that quality pyramid more towards fully directed AI music creator. So this tier here is what we call identity control. So these three here are where you're really controlling the identity of the music that you're creating, of your artist that you have created inside of Suno. Now we get into this top layer here. This is where it gets really important from separating. First one is Suno Studio. So this is where you actually go into Suno Studio and you isolate the parts of the song that were great, you extend them, you remove FX. If there's tempo drift, you go in there and you mark those and you correct the tempo drift. But you understand Suno Studio, all of the controls that you have inside of Studio to really dictate what that song will ultimately sound like coming out of Suno. So this is, again, you taking a lot of control over the output versus just being along for the ride of what Suno wants to create. So learn Studio, understand it, go in there, experiment, and it will continue, it'll drive you up this quality pyramid towards the top. Now you export and you put it into a DAW. And this is where you do your DAW mixing. This is the part where you can add your own elements to it. Or you pull out stems and you can adjust the sound of some of the different instruments inside of there. Or maybe you replace all the drum stems with your own drumming. Or maybe you replace the vocal stems with your own vocals. But this is where you take it and then you actually are mixing in the individual stems. You're layering in your own instruments, your own recordings. But you're really taking that as a mix engineer at this point. This is, again, outside of Suno. You have extracted the stems, and now you're working inside of your DAW for that mix. Then you get to the very top here, and that is your DAW master. So this is where you take the final file after you've mixed it, and you do the final mastering of it to make sure all the measurements are within range of what you are expecting, what high quality music sounds like, especially on streaming platforms. So this top tier here, this is your finish control. So you can see how all of these work together. As you progress up here, you become more and more professional. Now again, like I said, you don't have to do all of these. There are some songs where, maybe you're not using the custom model, you're not using Studio, you're not utilizing My Taste or Persona, but you're mixing in a DAW and you're mastering in a DAW, and you've dialed in this reference track and lyrics and prompts. So it's not to say you have to do all of these to achieve fully directed output, but as you can see, there are a lot of options here, and the more that you pull in, the more you master, the more that you understand, the more that these become absolute tools in your toolbox to use, the more you drive that quality up towards the top and you become fully directed in the songs that you're creating in AI. This is what separates the winners from those who are just out there having a good time, just creating some generic slop. If you're watching this video, chances are good you're striving towards the top, as we all are. So hopefully this helps. There's a blog post, I'll link it in the video as well, where I go into a little bit of detail. And then all of this is captured in the different documentation inside of the Red Lab Access, where we go very deep on all of these subjects. So a link to the Red Lab Access will be in the comments as well. So hopefully this was helpful, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch.